What is going on, guys? Today we are back with the Walleye Now presentation of the month, brought to you by Target Walleye, where once a month we break down one of the best presentations working right now all across walleye country. This month we're going to go into one of my absolute favorites. We're doing some spinner rig trolling, and this is one of those things that just goes hand in hand with late summer. Spinner rigs, walleyes, let's get into it. Let's catch some fish. Fish on. Right there, Surly. We got him. We got him. That is what I'm talking about. Turn the motor off for you guys. Just kind of came out of a big corner. And this is definitely feeling right. Definitely feeling right. And you know, very few things go together as well as spinner rigs and summertime walleye fishing. You can take a spinner rig almost anywhere you're gonna go in walleye country and find success this time of year. And this is feeling like it's gonna be a real good one. 24-ish should be my guess. And you know, we just did a Walleye Now location of the month through Target Walleye. And we were talking a lot about trolling hard to soft bottom transitions. And that is exactly where this fish came from. And after we shot that, I was like, man, we should really give kind of one of the best presentations to catch fish there. So for our presentation of the month, figured we better get the spinner rigs out and do some spinner rigging in these locations here. And we're trolling a lot of schools of fish that are looking kind of like this here. You know, stacks of a few fish kind of out over these areas. And man, this thing's 20 feet down and it's just feeling heavy. And when you're trolling and you get fish coming in like vertical like this, it's a good thing, except, you know, I'm by myself and it's all up to me. Trolling's always slightly easier when you got somebody else on the net, but he's making a good run. Look at that thing, dude. This is gonna be a nice fish for sure here. This is gonna be a nice fish for sure here. Slow and steady, let him play himself out. Almost to the bouncer. Almost to the bouncer. I got about 10, 11 feet of lead. So it always gets a little bit weird. All right, I can see him down there. Oh yeah, he's a real nice walleye. Let's scoop you, buddy. Let's scoop you. Oh yeah, there we go. You know, not quite as big as I even thought he was, but he was giving her down there. And we'll give you guys a look at this fish and kind of go into a couple of my favorite spinners and how I like to rig them and some other tips that is going to give you guys a lot of confidence in this presentation, and you'll be able to catch a whole bunch of these late summer walleyes. And he's already off in the net. Look at that guy right there. That's as good as it gets. Solid, perky, late summer walleyes, pulling spinners. Let's let that guy go, huh, Surly boy? Let's let him go right there. There he goes, nice and strong. All right, let's talk a little bit about the technical side of fishing spinner rigs. Now, kind of the most common way to fish them is with a bottom bouncer. Bottom bouncer, obviously just a simple piece of wire and a piece of lead, comes in a variety of different weights from 1/2 ounce, 1 ounce, 1.5, 2, 2.5. Those are probably the most common sizes of bottom bouncer. Now, the key is, if you're gonna run one of these, to know the dive curve of it. Generally, when you're pulling spinners, your speed's gonna be right around that 1.1 to kind of 1.3 miles an hour. So know the dive curve and get pretty accustomed to it. What it's gonna do at 100 feet, how deep it's gonna go on 50 feet. And that's gonna allow you to put it right where you need it to be. And so that's obviously an important part. Now for the actual spinner rig, there's just so many different kinds of spinner rigs and you can tie your own. There's slow deaths, there's single blade with a slow death. There's smiley blades, butterfly blades, tandem hooked rigs, rattling spinner rigs. There's a ton of different kinds and varieties. Now today I'm fishing for fish that are relatively inactive, very neutral. You can see we got high skies, very flat column, and it's just that kind of bite. You know, we're picking up a decent amount of fish, but a lot of times downsizing and going a little bit more finessey can be the deal. So what I'm running today, a couple of beads in there. If I'm fishing clear water, I love purples, silvers, and golds. If I'm fishing dirty water, golds, oranges, chartreuses is kind of a good rule of thumb. Today we're fishing some clear water, single hammered nickel blade, smaller blade, with just a bigger slow death hook on there. And basically, you know, what you can do is you can take your crawler, and all I'm doing when I'm running these single hooked rigs, I'll thread that crawler on a little bit more than you normally probably would want to. And then what I'm gonna do from there is thread it up over the eye of it, so it looks something like that right there. It's got that little bend in it. Now I'm just gonna pinch off that tail, and it's really gonna add a lot of kind of swirling and twirling to it. So the whole rig looks about like that. Now, the other kind of rig we fish a fair amount is like your regular tandem hook crawler harness rig. And this is one that I've actually loved fishing in dirty water, or if I'm dealing with aggressive fish and I'm trying to call out to them a lot. And this is the Acme rattling spinner. It's got a little rattle chamber right on the spinner, and you guys can probably even hear that rattling. So as the blade goes around, it bangs the clevis onto this rattling chamber and really calls out to those fish. Obviously, with this tandem hook rig, you're going to put the head of the crawler right here and the tail of the crawler about 2/3 of the way down it on that back hook, like that right there. So that's another great option. You know, not a lot of times when fishing dirty water, I kind of like a little bit more of a blade that's going to call out to those fish and stand out, that looks something like that. Now, most of the time in the middle of summer, we're talking about putting on night crawlers on our spinner rigs. A lot of times I'll run leeches on them early in the year, but most of the time in this mid through late summer, I like running crawlers on there. So you go through a lot of crawlers. A great alternative would be like an Uncle Josh pork crawler and a 7-inch. This bait catches a lot of fish in situations where fish are willing to eat a lot artificial, and it'll last you through a ton of fish. You're not constantly swapping out, you know, your live crawlers. But if they are in a crawler bite, we'll feed them crawlers. Now, most spinner rig guys who do a lot of spinner rigging carry multiple boxes in the boat that look like this, where you get a bunch of different kinds of different colored beads that you like fishing, a bunch of different colored blades and sizes and all sorts of stuff that looks like that. Sometimes it's organized, mine is not. But a nifty little thing that I like having on mine is quick change clevises, and that a lot of times is going to allow me to adjust on the fly. This lake in particular, a lot of these Clearwater lakes, I like running gold, silver, and nickel blades. So let's say the silver one is not producing and I'm catching a few fish on purple, simply pop that blade off, go in my boxes of blades here, and we'll just get out, you know, maybe a purple one or a gold one or whatever color we might be wanting to change to. Take that purple one, snap it right on there, just like that, and now we got the purple blade on there and ready to rock and roll. So those quick change clevises come in super handy for this style of fishing. Obviously, there's numerous different ways you can run a spinner rig. We're fishing in the state of Wisconsin right now, so I'm allowed 3 lines. And basically what you can do is, you know, you can run them out on a board, you can run them as a down rod like this. I'm running 2 board rods and 1 down rod. If you were fishing a state where you were only allowed 1 rod, I'd probably put it just as a down rod. And then it's super simple. Engage the boat, get it going at the correct speed, 1.2, 1.3 miles an hour. Send your bait back how far you gotta go to kind of get down to that depth range you're trying to get to. And once you're there, simply put it in the rod holder and you're good to go. Spinner rigging is an absolutely phenomenal way to catch a ton of these late summer walleyes, whether you're putting them on boards, running them on down rods, running single blades, running slow death rigs, whatever it is, play around with it. And it's one of the best ways to continuously get bit wherever you're gonna go in walleye country this time of year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Walleye Now presentation of the month brought to you by Target Walleye. If you guys enjoy content like this, if you like soaking up all the walleye information you can get your hands on, get online and check out the Walleye Now app available on Google Play and the App Store. It is loaded with hundreds and hundreds of hours and hundreds of different videos just like this, where we break down a lot of the best bites going right now in walleye country, all those little rigging specifics that ultimately catch more fish, and break down some of the best locations on where we're seeing walleyes right now. Until next time, stay tuned for more.